go. This is what we'll be making today. Let me just give me a sec just to set up all the tech side. Make sure we've got everything we need. Potentially I might just change the light because the natural light shifted. So one sec. Yeah, we've got a lot of cutting out to do today, so we have to have the light in the right angle. So I just need to check that I've got the sound going. That's fab. Excellent. So let's get started. So if you want to comment in the live chat, you're welcome to ask any questions, and I will see them on the screen in front of me. It's a bit of a time delay, but I should get to your questions, and I can answer them live on the video. If you're watching the replay, then feel free to ask questions in the comments, and I should get a notification and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Or you can email me your questions. You can email me at della@dellabydesign.co.uk. That'd be fab. Happy to answer anything crafty. So today we're going to be making this design, which I've called the Tulip Fields, and it's made using the new Tulip stamp set. So, well, exclusively just this one. No other ones are used for this one. This is actually the first design I made for this set. I had this idea of this sort of geometric shaped tulip that can be decoupaged and layered up. So these are the stamps. So there's 17 different stamps. Obviously we need one for this one, but they're each individual and you can peel them off and use them. There's some little instructions on the back. But this design is available as DIY kits that you can make yourself. So we've got the beginner's kit, the advanced kit, or the expert kit. So the expert kit comes with the stamps and the cardstock and the card blanks, so you can experiment with what colours you want to make. You can do your own thing, a bit more freedom. The advanced kit will look something like this. Lots of stamped images. So it has the strips cut out ready for you, and then it's got all the tulips in the different colours. There. And then the card blank and envelope. Ooh, that is a miscut card blank. I will go and get another one. Annoyingly, I don't have one to hand. I'll be back in just a sec. Wish that slipped through quality control. But here we go. So this card blank and envelope. So that's what we need to make from the advanced kit. It will look like this. If you've got the beginner's kit, then all these pieces will be cut out ready for you to assemble. So this video is going to be a lot of peaceful, mindful cutting because I'm not going to rush this or like jump ahead or just have a whole load of pre-done ones. We are just going to cut them out. But if you've got the beginner's kit, you'll be able to fast forward through this and onto the assembly part of the video. So other things that you'll need for today are some scissors if you've got the advanced kit, some scissors and some glue. So I've got, in fact I don't think I even used this one on this one. This is a Glue Mouse Spencer's double-sided tape. It is one of my favourites, but I don't think we need it on this design. Your kit will come with some foam pads, probably not as many as these because these are the ones I had stashed aside. So these are foam, 3D foam, and they're sticky on both sides with a backing paper. That's what we'll be using to get a nice 3D effect on here. I will be using this glue, so it's a wet glue. This one's called Glossy Accents. Technically not a glue, but works really well as a glue. It's for actually adding like a shine to, so you could have shiny tulips. You could paint this onto it, and it has like a really glossy, beautiful finish. But it works really well as a glue, and what's fab about it is that it takes 20-30 seconds to fully dry, so you get a little bit of wiggle room when you're sticking things down. You can move it, and as I've requested in the instructions, is a wooden spoon, and I'll explain more about that when we get to that point. So I'm gonna get comfortable, and one thing that's really sad about this video is that I went down in between videos. I went down to make myself a cup of tea, and it is still sitting half made on the kitchen counter downstairs, which yes, slightly gutted about, but never mind. I will make a new one later on. I do have some water though, so that'll keep my throat going. Been doing a lot of talking today. So we're going to cut out these flowers. So there are 10 in each colour. If you've done some quick maths on here, we don't actually need that many. So we're going to cut out 5 complete flowers from each colour, and then we're just going to cut out the central petal from the other 5. And that still leaves us with too many. So we need 18 to make this. So we'll make 20 flowers in total. And then depending on how the layout goes and the colours, it's kind of handy to have extra colour options because you want to play around with the pattern on there. So yes, let's get cutting. So I'm going to start by just cutting these all in half, so I know which ones I'm cutting out completely and which ones I'm cutting out just the petal. That should help me stay on track. Actually, what I will do as well, so if I've been cutting out on videos all day today, so I can feel that these scissors need a little bit of sharpening. So if you've got a pair of craft scissors that are feeling a little bit, I wouldn't say blunt, that's a bit too extreme, but a quick way to sharpen them is to use some tin foil, which I believe I have. I'll just go and fetch it. There we go. Some tin foil, and what I'm going to do is just go fold it over a few times. I'm just going to cut from base to tip. Make this like fringe pattern. There we go. Put that to one side, and I can already feel that they feel different. So let's start off by cutting out the petals. I always find starting when you're cutting out to start with the simplest shape first. Let your muscles settle in and your eyes adjust. I do love fussy cutting. I know not everyone shares my passion for fussy cutting, which is why I offer the beginner's kit with everything cut out for you, or I will be doing a series of videos with suggested card ideas using some of the block images, so you can stamp them directly onto the card and you don't need to cut them out. But I love this way of stamping on coloured card and then cutting around the image because it gives such a bold pop of colour. But if you don't have the right colour card that you want, then you can always stamp it onto white card and colour them in. I've also found if you've got the expert kit and you've got the stamps, what you can do to stamp these petals, which I found quite an effective way to do it, is to cut a long strip of the coloured card, like slightly wider than this, and then stamping along so you're not wasting any excess card. But what I like to do for the advanced kits is to give you the whole image so that you've got a bit more freedom. You can make 2 of these cards, but without having the decoupage petal if you wanted, or you could use them on something else. So we're looking for 5 petals from each and 5 full flowers. Okay. I have to manage my my cuttings. So if you've got any questions, you're welcome to ask them in the comments. And I can answer. So like I say, so all of the stamped images I design them myself, and I design them with the cards I want to make in mind. So they're all designed to work together in the right sizes and things, and also with that anticipation of fussy cutting. So you'll find a lot of my designs have the sort of the thick black edges, to make that a little bit easier. Yeah. And what I like to do when I'm crafting, I will like save up various things that I want to fussy cut, and I'll keep them in a separate box beside me at the craft table, and then at the end of the evening, if I'm heading down to watch TV or maybe a mid-afternoon break, I will take my box of bits to cut out and sit and watch. Hang on, can't do inverted commas. Watch some TV. Generally pick something that either I've seen 100 times before, so I don't need to, or something that I'm happy just to watch and follow along with the sound. There's extra bits. Yeah, you don't want anything too gripping, because you don't want to be suddenly find yourself lost in whatever you're watching and your scissors are halfway through. Also feeling pretty pleased with myself having picked out the sort of exact match of nail varnish colour today. No, I didn't opted for no purples. I quite like wearing purples and lilacs, but I knew that would clash with what we're doing today. But yeah, I didn't think I'd get this quite so spot on. So yeah, I'm expecting to sort of get into quite a flow state with this cutting out, which is nice. Always when I start these live videos, I can feel quite nervous, but actually once I start the cutting out part of it, just everything calms. So this card design was the first one I made from this card set. First sort of idea that I wanted to bring to life, and I initially made it for my neighbour's birthday, but obviously it was before I designed the image, but it was before we had the stamps. So my little workaround on that is to use the take the digital image, use Procreate to colour in the image, and then print it onto thin card. So it was these similar colours to these. I think I had some purple in there as well. But I printed out a whole sheet of these tulip cards, tulip images, and then cut them out just like this. Again, the shawls curled up on the sofa. And what I did for her card, which wasn't viable for this kit, but I did it on a green background, so it kind of had that more tulip feel to it, which really made the colours pop. So if you've got some green card, I want to add that in. I do find this is, I mean, I say bizarre. Maybe I should, if I spoke to some more manufacturers, I understand. But green card seems to be sort of difficult to pin down. I feel like there's only so many pinks, yellows, and styles, and most people, you can generally get your hands on that. But the green seems to be, there seems to be so many varieties, and then when I fall in love with one, I can't fight that. I can't get the same style green again. So I've had a few kits in the past where the green has been discontinued, and I've sort of remade the kit on a slightly different green, but it's definitely not the same. It always feels like it's just elusive. How can there be so many greens? Whereas I find myself with like 4 different reds going, I'm pretty sure there's only a slight shade difference in any of these, and any of them will do. Okay. Definitely enjoyed cutting out the nice, easy petals. It's a lovely sort of therapeutic like swoop on one side and the other. So there are the 20 petals. I'll put those up here. And we'll cut these out. Cut them out. Cut them off of the main sheet. Just get rid of that excess card and weight. And then I'm going to cut round nice swooping curve, and then come back in and do the detail part. So for this I'm going to cut in, and I'm going to rotate, keep the scissors still, and then rotate the card and just cut back and forth. Nice thick black line, so you've got a bit of wiggle room in how much you cut away each time. And if you've got extra bits of red card showing, you can either just come in and snip them away, or you can use a black pen and just fill them in afterwards. So I was wondering, so with my cutting out curled up in front of the TV, I'm going to run through some TV recommendations. So if you're watching on the replay, or if you're watching live, I'd love to know what your sort of go-to comfort TV is. So I've say for the don't need to look up from the screen at all. I would say look up from the cutting rather. I would say Friends and Big Bang Theory would be mine. But I have just started, which I know is a little bit behind, but I've just started the Gilmore Girls, which I haven't actually looked up when it was. I'm assuming it's kind of in 90s, must be later 90s because it didn't cover me, but it's got that kind of a My So-Called Life feel to it, a little bit more modern than that. But yes, I'm a few episodes in and I'm loving it. But it's quite sort of like slow and easy pace that you don't need to you're not missing things by not watching all the time. So have just finished watching Parks and Rec for the second time through. I think we first watched it quite a few years ago, so we've just finished rewatching it. Which I'd say I could probably watch that with cutting out now, but there's a lot of quick visual humour on that, which you would want to look up for. You don't want to miss. But if you've got any suggestions, add them into the comments. I've recently got into audiobooks, which I haven't tried with cutting out yet. I'm finding like the perfect sweet spot is doing chores, which is enough to keep my sort of mind occupied enough doing some kind of activity, but I can still focus on the book. But I find if I'm trying to sit there and just listen to it, I find I've normally picked up my phone, scrolled to something, and then it's like I'm 2 chapters further forward and I have no idea what's going on. So it means I'm getting more chores done. while I'm cutting these out, I'll give you a little run through of Deadify by Design. I'm not sure if I remember which year it started. I think we are coming up to 10 years this year. So I started Deadify by Design in 2016. Started in September. Well, I started quite before. That's when I opened the online shop for the first time. I think I started with a range of 6 cards then. So for the first 6 years, I was designing card kits, but I was using another company's stamped images with their permission as a way of making the designs, and so you could buy advanced and beginners kits from me. And then in 2023, I believe, that's when I designed my first set of stamps, and now I'm in the process of clearing all of the stock of the old style kits and replacing it with just all designs that are with my stamps. So I think we're up to 6 sets of stamps now, with another one very much in production, and another, I think 3 more planned for this year. So I'm trying to scale up on the designing, which is fun to actually build the range of designs. But still keeping the focus on the design of the card kits, so that you've got, it's not just a standalone stamp set, you've got the option of having a project ready to go, which I think is really powerful when you're not sure of where to start, or even if you feel like you've got lots of ideas when you initially bought a set of stamps, and then when you look at it, you're not really sure where to start or what to do. So I like to give people that stepping stone of, even if it's just a case of sitting down and starting with the design that I'm showing you, and who knows, you might make it all the way through from start to finish and just feel that satisfaction. Had a little bit of mindful zoning out, no decisions, just keeping your hands active. Or inspiration might strike halfway through, you might go off on a tangent, you might get a new idea, but it's getting over that starting block. And then in September this year, so it's 2026, I will be having a stall at the Creative Craft Show at Farnborough, which is my first time sort of selling at a craft specific event in that way. I think rather than sort of local craft fairs, which are generally people selling their crafts finished. This will be the first time actually going to an event that's actually specifically for crafters, which I'm very excited by. A little bit daunted, but very excited by it, because it's a 3-day event. And yeah, like I say, the first time I had the opportunity to meet tens of thousands of adult crafters who know exactly what a stamp is. Because what I find on the markets that I've been doing in the past, I do occasionally meet the adult crafter who knows exactly what it is that I sell and is very excited and is happy to chat with me about the designs and how it all came together. But a lot of people, it's unknown to them, so I can quite easily give them a quick demo. I always have this mat set up on my stand. I give them a quick demo of how it works. They can have a little go, and people are amazed. I think the only time they think of stamps is either the big wooden rubber stamps, or like the toddler stamp set, like pre-inked stamps, that kind of thing. So it's nice to see people discovering it, but it'll be quite a different feel when everyone in the room knows what it is. Just suddenly remembered about my defunct cup of tea downstairs. Make myself a fresh one maybe after this video. Hopefully if you're watching the replay, you've got the benefit of you can pause it and go make a fresh cup. Or if you're cutting out quicker than me, then you've probably got time to make it and come back. What have we got? 8 more to go. So let me just have some water and I'll tell you about the D by D Club. So the D by D Club is my email subscription group. I send out emails every other or the first and third Friday of the month, and I'll let you know about upcoming designs, how it's going. You get a little bit of behind the scenes of what designs are coming up. Keep you updated on workshops, like virtual ones like these, or in-person events in sort of Bexley area in Kent or Greater London. We're out on the border, so we can be either. And so yeah, it's that email subscription. It's free to join. I also include, so generally speaking, when we launch a new range of designs, I'll include a members offer, either early bird or exclusive kit. There's always these little perks that I'm always trying to weave into my offering. And part of what I've really enjoyed about designing my own stamps and the sort of learning how to draw on the iPad and how to create these images and use Procreate is that I can create pattern papers which I can design, and then I've got my fancy printer here which I invested in so I can print out the pattern papers and get some beautiful colour matches on that, and they coordinate with the stamps. So like I haven't designed the tulip ones yet, but I will be soon. But yeah, I'm excited about having like this sort of style, like the field feel to it, but on a pattern sheet. I think it would look really cute. And then the vases and the flowers in the vases. It's really fun. Maybe even take some of this kind of the doodle patterns and have that extended across as a pattern paper. So anyway, back to what so these pattern papers. So every stamp set I've designed, I've created the stamps, the pattern papers to go with them. So as to the options, you can mix and match the stamps and the papers together, or you can use the papers to make some designs on their own. So normally it's a set of 5 papers with 1 embellishment sheet, which has different greetings on or different images that are ready to cut out and make embellishments. And basically, so with the 5 sets, I design 3 cards or 3 projects. Sometimes they're not all cards. Different projects that you can use to use the paper, print them out, and make them. And these are a really fun, effective way of doing a nice, easy craft without the without any card blank or card stock or things like that. So anyway, it's they've been really popular, and what I have is they're available to buy digitally on my Etsy shop, or you get them as a download straight away and you can print them out at home. Or on my website you can order them as printed sheets, so I'll print them out here and I'll send them to you. Or if you are a D club member, then you get the opportunity to download the free bundle, which contains, I think it's 3 sets, I think, at the moment. And that's all based on the potty plants one at the moment. And then that changes every 6 months. And you'll get a new set of designs that you can download for free and print out. So they're a lot of fun if you want to investigate those. I think my favourite one, which is in the free bundle at the moment, is the jungle box frame, which is 5 printed sheets to colour in and cut out, and they layer on top of each other to create a 3D box frame of like what I call a home jungle, which I'm slowly turning my dining room into. So lots of different plants and pots and hanging baskets and things like that to make a little treasure trove of house plants. That's a great option if you want to make something to keep rather than making beautiful cards that you have to give away. Difficult bit, especially if someone's not going to appreciate the handmade love that's gone into making them. The box frame can be made. I've got it up on display downstairs in my downstairs loo. So I can't quite go and grab it to show you now, but I should have bought ahead and bought that. But if you have a look on my website, which is www.dellabydesign.co.uk, you should find it on there quite easily. Actually, I might even add a link to the description of this video once it's been published. So if you're watching the replay, you can have a look in there. So I should have a notebook beside me so I actually write down all the things I promised during these live videos. I don't forget. Hopefully not. Remind me if it's not there, do feel free to send me a message or a comment. And I'll add it on. There we go. Not quite the last one. Right, I need some water. So yeah, do love in the comments. How did I fare? Was your cutting out quicker than mine? Slower than mine? Never quite sure fast or not, but I certainly do enjoy it. It completely chills me out, lowers my heart rate, and I'm feeling nice and relaxed now. So this is where the beginner's kit would start. So it's quite a stash of beautiful colourful cards. So you've got the 20 petals and the 20 flowers. Now what we're going to do is use that wooden spoon, which we haven't used yet. So we're going to make each of the flowers. That's I've got a time down there. I tried to held my hand up to the screen for ages. So use a wooden spoon. We're going to curve the flowers around the handle of the wooden spoon. I'm going to curving it from left to right. So we lay it on there, and then I'm just going to curve them round. So rather than doing it by hand, you just avoids getting the creases. I'm doing it too heavy-handedly. So let's. Yeah. So it's like we've got I made this card on a time-lapse video, and I was only a few days ago I was editing that together, and I just got that in my mind. It feels like I should be able to do this really quickly because I did all. It was even too long time lapse because it's 20 flowers to curve and then 20 petals. Let's just enjoy the process. That's what I like about this card. It's a repetitive, easy technique, but when you build it up all together, it looks really striking. Okay. They really like come alive when they're just that little curve. Don't know if it comes across in the videos quite as well. Quite as well. Go, and then we're going to curve the petals as well. Won't take it long. Actually, are we going to curve the petals? I think the way we glue them, I think I did curl them in the time lapse, but I think by the time you stuck them down, I think you'd lose that anyway. So I'm going to leave those. Right. Now it's gluing. So these foam pads, these are little squares which are perfect for this. I'm going to add one to each of the petals, and then I think two to each of the tulips. Yep, two on there. But if you've got foam pads that are bigger, like these larger squares, although some of them are oblong, what you can do is cut them down to a smaller size. So if you keep them on the backing, with the backing on there, I use a different pair of scissors. These are ones that I call my sticky scissors, so I sort of allow them to get sticky and clean them occasionally, whereas these ones don't get sticky at all. But if you cut through with the backing paper on top and bottom like that, I'm not going to do it on these ones, but yeah, then it won't get too sticky. Nice way of getting some smaller ones. And I also saw there's also a foam tape. I've got some to hand. Got a thin one here, so you can also get it in foam tape, which is really good when you're doing like big panels, so you can do large areas quickly. However, if that's all you've got, it makes this really difficult. But what the trick I saw was, I haven't tested this out, which I probably should have done before I say this, is to peel off a strip and stick it onto like baking paper, or I guess any kind of sticker paper, and then cut it on there. So in a similar way that we'll make those smaller. So that's a nice handy technique needed. Right, I'm going to turn these all over and add. So what we're going to do is add one of these foam pads. So just peel it off, keep one side, so one side's sticky, one side's not at this stage. And I'm going to put them at the top of the petal, a little diagonal, trying to make sure it doesn't go over the edges. And I'm going to repeat that, probably not as far up. Repeat that on all of these. There we go. Do yellow next. And then to the top. There we go. Now, before I start doing the rest, all I'm going to do is add some of this glue onto the bottom half. There's a petal. Just trying to remember if this glue was strong enough. I think I had to hold this one down for a long time. I think I actually found the glue mouse to be better. Let's do a test. Just needs a memory. I'm just going to add the glue mouse to the bottom of these ones. Okay, and I'm going to find the large tulip and then line it up to go on top. In fact, actually line up at the bottom because that's what's going to be flush. And then the foam pad is on the top, so you've got that top petal is coming forward. That's what we're going for. So that sticks nicely. But I've got a feeling this glue it will hold like it when it dries, but I have to hold it. So I'd rather not do. I think that would take a long time. Okay, it's holding. So we've got 20 flowers, we can experiment. It's fine. So I'm going to do these yellow ones with this, which is tricky to get it to come out. And if you've got more time, then I think the only issue is that it needs to be held because it's really fighting against the lifting up with the foam pad. So as long as you have time just to hold them in place. In fact, it might have dried too much in that time. Let me stick all these down and then we can add some more glue onto them if they're not staying. In fact, I think I've even got some miniature pegs, which I think I've used before on these. Because it looks fine when they're it will stand with the foam pad. It will stand up at the base as well. However, it looks really cute when it's like close at that end and then comes up. So that's what I'm aiming for, that little perfection. So I'm gonna aim to get there. I'm going to nab some of these pegs. And who doesn't like crafting with cute pegs? I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. Basically, all that time I was faffing around meant that the glue dried. Too much. Add some glue in there. Catch the end. Oh, like a new craft idea coming on. So we're just using these little miniature pegs just to hold that wet glue in place. Just because it's got a lot of work to do, and I want to be cracking on with the others rather than holding these down. Next one. Very cute. But for these yellow ones, and I think the rest we'll do with the double-sided tape, so it's a bit stronger. And well, it's weird because it's not as strong, but it attaches immediately, which is what we need for these to work quickly. So So again, just lining up the base, get that in line, and then letting the foam pad stick to the top. And if you're just joined, we've got the base flower, the tulip head, we've curved it around a wooden spoon handle, which, as it's nice thick card, it's holding that shape. And then we're adding this petal on top to add to the 3D-ness of it. Okay, let's get to these ones. Let's do pale pink next. What I'm going to do is the glue mouse first on the bottom half. Well, I'll say bottom half. I'm going to be quite generous. Doesn't matter if it covers all of it. And then add the little foam pad squares to the top half and put them in diagonal just because it just works with the shape a little bit better. Now the big question is going to be, could I finish this card before my son gets back from school? Luckily his older brother's here, so we can let him in. It doesn't disturb me, but it does mean that there's an extra body in the house that potentially will be wanting the Wi-Fi. So I'm aiming to finish by then. We've got time. Okay, and foam pads on these. And one more. Excellent. So we'll make the pink flowers. So again, lining it up on the base. One more pale pink one. So we've got 5 of each colour. If you've got the expert kit, or if you've got the stamps of this one, you can obviously make like lots of different colours. You can even have it in sort of rows of matching colours, like your tulip fields would be, and they're grown. Or it could be haphazard like this. It's up to you. Or you might find you don't want to put them all onto one card. After you've so lovingly made these, you might want to make a few cards with them. Maybe use the so they work well with these stems here. So if you want to turn them into actual full flowers. Yeah, and that is the last flower. And we'll have a check on the pink ones. Yeah, that's lovely. They've held, and the pegs haven't left a mark. Let's come apart, but never mind. Now I've got some glue on the peg. Don't want to come off. I'm just going to move these. So these, the backs of the double-sided tape foam pads are plasticky, so I'm going to put them in a different pile there, not in the recycling. Right, some more foam pads though. So each one of these we are going to add 2 foam pads to the back. This is where you can get so I recommend putting 2 along the centre line, because where we've added that curve to it, if we stuck them down flat, you'd lose that curve. So we're going to do 2 down the centre line, but we don't have to be too precise, we just don't want to go over the edge. This is where it starts to come together. It's exciting. The one red one doesn't seem to want to stick. Is that the same red one? It's there now. Multitask with multiple ones stuck on multiple fingers. I assume it hasn't been coming through on the mic, but there's someone with a garden strimmer out somewhere out there in the neighbourhood, and it's like that sort of constant noise that hadn't been bothering me, but it's like it just stopped, and you realise, it's actually quite nice. Peace again. I'm sure he's going to start up again any second. Last one. Yay. Right. Our beautiful mountain of flowers. Excellent. So next we're going to bring the card blank in. Make sure the table's clean, not sticky. So we're going to open this up, and then in your kit you'll have the 4 strips. So I've chosen to do alternate. You could do different colours. It's up to you. It's quite nice to sort of give them a frame. So what I've done with this kit is, so they, I don't know what the phrase is because obviously not overlapping, but they tuck into each corner, so you create this nice pattern. Turn that one over. And what you're looking for is to get it positioning so you get like an even edge on all four sides, but also that the four strips line up with each other, making an outer one. So it is quite large, quite far out. But yes, once you're happy with it, then just take one off to glue so that you've got a reference point to glue them. I don't think it's going to be too narrow for the glue mouse. I'm going to go with the wet glue instead, but not much. It doesn't take much to hold this down, and it's more like to make a mess than it is to become unstuck. Just going to let that. So remember, this glue takes sort of 20-30 seconds to dry, which gives you time to wiggle it around, but it also means that if you put it on too soon, it will just make a mess. It's long enough. I didn't put much on there. So. Okay, and take the next one. That is my son arriving home from school. We're nearly there. And assuming his big brother will let him in. I shouldn't need to leave you. Right, I'll do one more. But I might have to go and rescue my son because the big brother doesn't seem to be coming to the door. One sec. Hello, I'm back. So, all is forgiven. Big brother was outside playing in the garden, kicking a football around, so you couldn't hear the doorbell. I've just run up and down the stairs. My heart rate's going now. Need to do some more cutting out to calm myself down again. Right, now we've got our stage, shall we say. So it's up to you. You can just copy this, if I bring this down a little bit. You can just copy this combination of colours. I think I'm going to go for something a little bit different. Or you can treat this, I treat this like a game of like, so you're looking for you don't want the same colours together. Is it one? So yeah, so the rows are 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. So you do have 2 extra, and I always find with these like the colour combinations is like the yellow just grabs your attention more than anything else. So I think if you decide roughly where the yellows are going to go, then the rest of it falls in place. So here, can't be yellow, can't be pink, I don't want it next to this pink, so that'll be red. And then the next row, let's bring a yellow in because I haven't had a yellow. And then that has to be red. Oops, stuck to my finger. And then that would be the hot pink. And then that could be yellow, or it could be the pale pink. Let me try it with yellow. That one. Oh, a sticky bit with my finger. And then yellow here. Pale pink. Oh, no, I want more red. And then pink there. Red there, although that gives us a line of red. Let's switch this over to there. And then a yellow. Yellow or pink? Ooh, pink. Pink. Pink, I think. Also, I've ended up with the reds in the same. That's so weird. I've ended up with the reds in the same position as that. In fact, what have I changed? Oh, I'm not gonna get sucked into the maths and the computations of that. So yes. So I spend a lot of time on my time being creative and designing, but my other my other side of my life is I'm a statistician and data analyst. So yeah. Try not to merge the two too often. So now that you've got that designed, either take a quick photo of your layout that you're happy with, so that you know where things are going, or, which is what I'm going to do, is to take them off carefully. Let's go up, I think. Take them off. In fact, I'm going to leave these 3 layers on here for now, just because it helps me with the spacing. Leave that alone, so I know roughly where that's going. And then it's this case of peeling and sticking. And we're racing against time before my son barges in here to ask when he can play on his computer. I'll close the one, that's all right. Squeeze this one a little bit, haven't I? But I didn't press it too hard. This one wider. Just to get that lined up, I'm just going to move this down slightly and put in the next layer. So for the next layer, you're looking to overlap just the sort of the tips of the, because the foam pads, you've got enough space to be able to get them to attach to the card, but leave the top half on top of those. Okay, I'm going to move some of these down. Just think about the positioning, it won't go too far down. But you can use the others as a guide for the rest. There we go, and then the row of 3. Okay, I'm just going to put that one there just to make sure I'm not. No, that's fine. Make sure I've got enough room for the bottom layer. And I'll complete this one. Just had some movement downstairs. Will we make it in time? And one more. There we go. Let me get the last one on with a nice even white frame around the edge. Or you could have had them a bit more spread out and going over the side. So one final press down on all those. So I've opted not to do a greeting on this one, but you could write it on the side or have a panel and stick it across and just make sure it's you've got enough foam pads. So you might want to put foam pads like in the gaps and do like 2 on top of each other to reach up. But it is possible, but I'm opting not to for this one. So that is our Tulip Fields card. Thank you ever so much for sticking with me for this one. It's definitely a labour of love, but also just a really sort of chilled out, easy card to make, but still very impressive because it just keeps on going layer after layer. So thank you ever so much, and I look forward to crafting with you again soon. Bye bye.